Well then, people, good evening and welcome back to the Just Your Football Show and another episode of The Final Word. Leeds United ran out 2-1 winners at home against Watford. After tonight's results, find themselves in third position, same points as Burnley, couple ahead of West Brom and Sheffield United, and just 3 now behind Sunderland. Sitting in a good position with some more favourable fixtures to come. But we'll discuss that over the next few days, of course. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Leeds' win against Watford at home and what a cracking start it was. So let's just start there. Join his smoking jacket. Yeah, man, I've got the dressing gown. The dressing gown is back. That's when you know winter's coming, when the dressing gown is back. Joe B, we'll come to you, seeing as you were sat in the gantry and you had the best view. And
not quite gantry. I was in like the pleb seats under the gantry.
Okay, but
still had a little TV, very nice. But
nice. So tell us why and your experience watching it from a little TV.
Why is because I emailed quite nicely and they're like, yeah, go on. Then no one really wants to show up to watch Watford, do they? So it was pretty easy enough. Yeah.
Nice.
And in terms of the experience, it was very, very nice. It was for a little series I've been doing called Leeds 101, where we're sort of introducing a 49ers fan into being a Leeds fan. And it was their first Leeds match, and it was a really good first 5 or 6 minutes. And then things got a little bit slow and a little bit like, oh, Ramazani's hurt, that's good. And then, oh, we're just happy at 2-0, that's good. And got a little bit tetchy, but I think we experienced the best and the worst of Leeds United during that match, to be completely honest with you. The entire spectrum.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Evie, you were also at the game. Do you know what? When I was looking around for people from a post-match, I was like, look, how dare they all go to the game? I was raging. I was like, what, you're at the game as well? You're taking a pic? But Evie, you were at the game. How was it for you? You enjoyed it?
It was, well, okay. I enjoyed like the first 15 minutes, and then after that, it was very stressful, if I'm being honest, because the whole dynamic shifted when Ramazani came off. It just wasn't as free-flowing. It wasn't as dominant. It just, they were very physical, and we've got quite a diminutive squad. We don't have many big boys out there, so they use that physicality to their advantage a lot of the time, but didn't do an awful lot with it. The midfield, I'm sure when you look at the heat maps, it's mainly going to be in the midfield, and they did hem us back a lot, actually, even going towards the second half of the first half into our own half, but they didn't do a lot with it. They didn't, I would have thought that they would have tested Meslier a bit more than they did, if I'm being honest, but they certainly gave us more to be concerned about than Sheffield did, and we still came out with the win, so I'm happy.
Can't say fairer than that, can you, Jack?
I thought the whole first half were all right. I know we dropped off, but we just the 2-0, it's like, it kind of comes with territory a little bit, doesn't it? We kind of got off to that's what we should have been doing when we always have a good 20 minutes, don't we? And we've not been pulling away. So it was sort of like just nature at beast, I felt, in first half. But then the second half was tetchy, particularly in ground. It got a little bit fiery. I thought the defending for goal was really poor. It was mad. I don't know why Pascal sold himself as sort of quickly as he did. And then it was just like carnage in box, wasn't it, really? But carnage with nothing going on, though. Well, I just created this madness, didn't we, in box when there was actually not a lot going on in the box. It's not like they were all piling forward or something. It was just like everybody was just shirking the responsibility. But yeah, I thought first half were all right. I thought it was just maybe I just sort of lulled into gaming myself a little bit watching it and just thought, oh well, it is what it is type of thing. But yeah, second half. But again, I don't really think Watford. I think if you just sort of overviewing game and not being too critical, I think it's just one of them. I don't know.
I think you're right, mate. I think when you're watching it live in the ground at home, it's a lot more nervy. You watch that back and you just go, yeah, they didn't really do it. I don't,
That's what I felt, yeah.
Yeah. They didn't really test us, did they, Lockie? Like Evie mentioned, they huffed and puffed and were physical, but didn't really offer anything either.
I think Barr was really good. The winger who scored, I thought he was a good player. He's 21 in, by the way. He's very young as well, so a bit of a future on him. Good player. Yeah, but physical, wasn't it? That's what they were. They were a good physical side. And in fairness, struggles last year, speaking of Coventry, stuff like that, Birmingham, we struggled against those physical teams a bit. And obviously, if physical teams play physical, it's going to be tough at times. You're going to be up against it for a little bit. But yeah, they had a 20-minute period in that second half. But once we made the subs, when James came on, Joseph came on, I feel we got a bit more control of it and we kind of settled properly. I think the problem was, was it Pollock, their centre half, just kept playing a ball out. And the way they set up, they were 1v1 with Strout, and he was like really wide. Straukin at Farker were talking after the game. I don't know if you saw it in middle at centre circle. When everyone were doing clap around pitch, he was proper talking to it middle. So I think they were asking what's gone on there. Why am I 1v1 out wide versus a quick winger? So there was definitely some things that we didn't quite get right. But yeah, I agree. I tend to agree. I think we weathered it quite well. About maybe 5-10 minutes where they did get into it 3 times. Firpo got beat, didn't they? But yeah, we were all right. Like I said, I think once we changed the game, once them subs came on, I felt we were actually better, and we created actually some big chances in the last 15 minutes that we should have scored. Shock.
Yeah, exactly, Paul. I think Lockie's bang on the money there. We continue to miss chances, and it's not just one player; it's a couple, to be honest, wasn't it?
Yeah, Joseph's got to score with the header. He's got to score with the header. The ball that James puts into him, he's just got to put it away. Peru needs to score off of that rebound as well, rather than place it. He just needs to lift it slightly, put his foot through it. Dan James should have squared it to Joseph as well instead of shooting, because Joseph was just free in the centre of the box. Solomon had a couple of shots as well that maybe we should have put away. Bogle was unlucky because I was literally stood right behind that in the cop end when it smacked, and it came out of the inside of the post because of the way the ball was spinning in such a way that when it connected with the post, it bounced the other way rather than doing what it normally would do, which would be to bounce into the goal. But yeah, I mean, bar the 15 minutes in the second half, they didn't. Apart from their physicality, they set up with 5 in midfield. At the start of the game, they basically let us have it, and we let them have it by getting the 2 goals. Yes, all right, fortuitous, but still, you've got to be in it to win it and force errors to make the goals. And then the Mancunian midget changed it slightly to sort of make it a little bit better. So they started to press a lot more, and you could see they were really focusing on Bogle. With the press, there was constantly 3 or 4 people running at him. And then what Farker did in the second half, which was very good, was bringing on Joseph and Pirot, because that completely wrestled the game back to us. Because James, bringing on Joseph and James, because that then moved James running down the right all the time, which gave their left back more to think about and created more space for Bogle. It just wrestled the control back to us. Yeah, it was a tough one, but it's 3 points. It's another 3 points. We move on. The American boy was the star player on the pitch in terms of what some people are saying, 7.8, although Tanaka for me is just inhuman in terms of how he plays. So, but just overall, it's 3 points. Yeah, it might not be the best performance in the world, but we adapted to them coming out hard in the second half, and we wrestled control back. Mister doesn't have any idea of a plan B, managed to put a plan B in and bring us back into it. So it's 3 points. We move on.
Yeah. I think that's a great assessment. We might as well end it here, folks.
Sorry.
No, it was so. That's what I'm saying. The thing is, though, and I feel like this could end up being the case throughout the course of the season, is Leeds will probably just knock out wins like this, and some games won't be as exciting. And I mean, say mad that, because I was thinking about it earlier, actually, like, could it? How am I going to say this? Could it actually get boring winning games of football? I know that sounds wild, but I just think we're a bit too good, I think, personally.
Yeah.
Or is it far too early?
Do you not remember how boring the final word and match reactions were in January and February and March? Because we just kept on winning. And by the end, there's only so many kind of
things
different synonyms
Yeah.
you can use for the word "we were amazing," "we got the job done," "we got another 3 points," "we kept a clean sheet." Like, there's only so many things you kind of, and I do think that that's part of what makes Leeds United is we have to have the downs in order to have the ups, and you see it so often. I know it's a different league. I know that before anybody says, but City fans are never happy because they have to create their own misery because of the fact that the team gets the job done every single week, basically, on the pitch. So they create this kind of fake, toxic fan base in order to have something to talk about. Whereas, at least when we go toxic, it's because we think that there is actually something to be, relevantly toxic about. So
To be
we
fair,
kind of need
a lot of
that.
people did that after Cardiff, and we won 2-0.
Oh,
There is a lot of
yeah.
fake toxic.
That's a great point. Well, to be fair, let's talk about one thing that's perceived as toxic at the minute, and it's Manor Solomon and how we were worse when he came on, and he needs to not play him, and he should have gone to James and all this. Genuinely, for me anyway, from what I'm seeing online, is the current thing, or it's either he should be playing Schmidt on Saturday instead of Byron, which we can have a conversation about. But the fact that he's not played Schmidt yet tells you he's not going to do that. So I do think there is a switch, at which point, like I've even seen some people saying send Solomon back already, and it's like, what are you doing? They are out there.
He's been injured. He's not fully fit.
Yeah.
He is a completely different style of player to Ramazani. Solomon is I will literally not move my boots off the white line of the wing. That's how Solomon plays, and then cut inside or go down the wing and on the outside. Whereas Ramazani's a bit different. We've talked about it before, about the fluidity that Ramazani, Aronson, and Nonto have in terms of that, like, attacking lineup and switching and moving around all over the place. Solomon doesn't do that. He just stays out on the left-hand side. There is nothing wrong with that. That's just the way that he plays. It's just, but funny observation from me, he looks like a little fat baby when he runs because his tummy sticks out when he runs. He's very like, who is it? Who plays for Arsenal now? What's Sterling. It called? Sterling. Very Sterling when he runs in terms of the way that he runs. But just, it's just ridiculousness. He's not played. Don't forget, he's still not 100% fully fit. Exactly. He will get there. We all waxed lyrical about him in that first game that we saw him play. It's just, unfortunately, it's a bit of a cancer of our fans where we have to have something to whinge about. We can't just be let's steady and happy with it all, unfortunately.
It's just not Matt Sharp yet. I don't think
that's all it is.
Honest. Like, his press conference at the end of the game, he had a word with him. Even he said, he's a player who likes to stick wider. So that's obviously something he's working on. He said that. He even said he's got a level to go. He's not the player he wants to be yet. So he's admitting all the things, and these are true. He's not. He can be better. He knows that. We all know that. Well, some of us do. But it's so, look, the fact people saying we were worse when Ramazani went off. I mean, obviously, he's the starting winger. He's the starting winger for a reason, because he's the best one. So yeah, obviously we're worse when Ramazani came off. That's why he started. Otherwise, Solomon would have started if he's doing better than him. So that's not why is that a thing to have a go at Solomon? I don't think he's sharp yet. I don't think it's that deep. I think if the issue with him is staying fit. If he can stay fit for 6 weeks, it'll be quality.
Yeah.
So look, I don't know. We'll see. If he stays fit, I'm sure he'll prove a lot of people wrong. If he doesn't, then that's the risk of that player. Yeah, I just don't think he's sharp, to be honest. I think
also, one thing that I thought as well, he's probably protecting Dan James more in terms of Dan James is our player. So if somebody's going to get injured, surely we'd rather it be a lone player that at the end of the day has no loyalty to us, and realistically, even if we do get promoted, isn't going to come to us because he's worth more to Tottenham than Rodon was. So we're not going to get that same kind of deal, because if he proves that he's worth his salt, he is a far more expensive player than Rodon was, unless you are world class. Centre backs are not in the same ballpark as wingers are. So for me, it makes logical sense for Farke to protect Dan James, because Dan James is our player and can probably create more of an impact than Solomon can, whereas Solomon maybe needs to warm up. Dan James can come on cold and make a difference, and we saw that. You know, he should have got 1, if not 2 assists last night. So for me, he's protecting Dan James, because I would rather have Dan James for longer in the season than Solomon if we have to choose between, you know, one or the other.
I just think it's. I was just going to say, I think Solomon's his left-sided winger, James is his right-sided winger. I think it's as simple
for me,
as
Joe,
that.
I think people are doing a bit too much with it, to be honest. Look, we want something to talk about. It's good, I guess that. But I even saw tweets like talking about. I saw someone probably watching. They always are out there saying like, you know, James was getting frustrated that Solomon was in his way. I'm like, what?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
That's just not true. That didn't happen.
It wasn't.
And then he was going to central. Like, that's what the wingers do in our team. I just think we're doing too much. Look, the fair criticism for me is not like disagree, whatever. That's fine, but I just think he's not match sharp yet.
Yeah,
That's it.
I think it was a case of, in theory, you could get 60 minutes out of Solomon. In theory, you could get 45 out of James. If you need someone to play 75 minutes, you're not going to chuck Dan James in there because he's got more of a bit of a risk behind him.
Yeah. And he brought him off. He brought him off because, like you mentioned there, he'll have in his brain how much minutes these lads can do from the. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I just think it's a case of getting up to speed. Jack, have you got any thoughts on it, bro?
Well, just wait out on Ramazani as well, because he'll get it in a few weeks if he goes off at boil a bit. This is literally what happens. Is, you know, he's the best player in the world now, the best winger. We cannot live without him. You know, he comes off and then the game collapses, because without Ramazani we don't win games. And then give it 4 weeks and it'll be Solomon, and then it'll just be, you know, it'll all come round full circle.
Do the voice. Come on.
no. But no, I nearly went in on it then. But it's just on a. I mean, Aronson were getting it. I thought I got home on Twitter.
You know, if Aronson wouldn't have scored, he'd have still got it today. He'd have been getting it today if he wouldn't have scored.
Yeah.
He's proper unselfish. I know we spoke about him the other day, but like, you know, he's a team player. He's not trying to beat a player every time he gets some ball or whatever. He's happy for Nonton, Ramazani, or heaven forbid Solomon, you know, to sort of take the reins. And I just it's just like desperately trying to whinge about something and anything. Solomon won't that. We're making out as though Solomon came on and you just thought, who's this?
He got better as the game went on. Once he started to get the fitness came through, you could see he was doing a lot better.
Yeah.
What did he do that? I didn't watch him and think, what is that?
There was nothing that he did that was bad. He's just not match sharp yet. That's it. No big deal. And like you know,
comparing himself to himself. Because we have seen, like, you know, even in the little glimpses, he looked really good, really sharp on ball and stuff. And then when he's not, you're only comparing him to himself. It's not like, what do you want? If he ends up being your fourth winger, is that quite a good fourth winger, or is it not?
It's like this whole thing with Aronson. It's people still get it twisted with Aronson. He is not Rutter. People need to get that out of their heads. He is not Rutter. He was never going to play like Rutter, and he just is. He's a different type of player, and it works for us. He pressures everybody. He's in and around. He's kicking, challenging, just making a nuisance of himself, which brings the wingers in a lot more. And just people just need to get used to that fact. He isn't Rutter.
Yeah. I just want to pick up on this. That's your algorithm, Andy D, not mine, bro. What the fuck? You're fucking mad, Ed. It's nothing to do with me now, bro. That's made me chuckle. What do we do about left back then, folks? Obviously, we're going to be without Firpo. Massive loss. I did see a decent take that I thought, actually, it's got some credence to it. That Byram won't give us the overlap, won't give us as much as what Firpo would on that side, especially when he's going to have to cut in on his right. That's why maybe Schmidt would be, the preferred option maybe within the fan base. But I think, I'm okay with Byram, by the way. I like Sam, and I think he's very dependable. But it'll be a different left side altogether, won't it? Because like Paul was saying earlier, Solomon likes to hug the touchline. Byram's not going to do what Firpo does. So it'll be interesting to see how that works on Saturday.
Yeah, it's to be honest, the cards annoyed me because I think 2 of his bookings were for dissent, stuff like that. You know, we've got to cut that out now because we're on the line a bit, aren't we? Is it Bogle? Is it Rodon as well? They're both on.
Bro, it's 19 games as well. So there's still 8 games we've got to get through without Rodon getting 1 yellow card. He's going to get one.
Yeah,
he's going to get
we need
one.
to be careful with stuff like that. Fark needs to have a word with him. Whatever you do, don't. If you yellow card, do it proper by stopping a chance or something. Don't gob off or kick the ball away. It's just stupid. But yeah, I think obviously the kind of excited side of it, you know, Schmidt had come in, this new signing and stuff like that. But we all know Farker's going to go with the trusted one. You know, like I saw what you said the other day, Joe, I think it was you, that it's his job. Where as fans we want to see the exciting option, but he's in the job. We're not. He's going to pick the one he trusts the most. Because he's not going to take these risks. You don't need to.
So and we need to trust him, right?
Yeah, because surely. What's he
yeah.
got to do now? I don't. If we've lost a few games, you question it, but he's winning games and he's been doing it for years in this league. So if he chooses Byram's fine.
Yeah.
For a lot of last season, Byram was really good for us.
Yeah, he was.
You know, and so yeah, look, it'd be a great surprise if we saw him in the starting lineup and I get a little excited. But if I see Byram there, I'm not going to write a 3-tweet, massacre of Sam Byram and talk about how terrible of a footballer he is. But it's fine, isn't it? It's a good option. It's a good squad option, and that's what he's there for when there's an injury or a card limit, whatever.
I wouldn't be surprised if he uses both. If he uses Schmidt for energy and then brings Byram on just to shore it all up. That's generally what he has done previously. And like you, I mean, I'm fine with either one. It doesn't. And Byram's just dependable, isn't he? And he's good at what he does. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was Schmidt and then Byram comes on 70th.
I mean, Schmidt's played about 10 minutes of football in the Championship. I can't see him starting him away at Bristol City. Not for me.
When Schmidt was at St. Gallen team for it, before he moved to us, he took a season there to get into it. He almost quit football, actually. He was talking about he almost quit before he moved there because he just couldn't. He stopped enjoying it. He weren't playing. So he's definitely someone that takes time to settle, I think, in new places, in different environments and stuff like that, which is probably what we're seeing. And Farker will be aware of that, obviously, that he almost quit and all this stuff. So I don't think he'll want to rush him. If he's ready, he'll play him. But if he's not, that's why you have a player like Sam Byram in there, because you know what the job he's going to do. It's not going to be exciting. Look, we give him discredit. Sam Byram can get up the pitch.
He's class. Whenever he comes on, man, he was quality last season, man.
You know what you're going to get, don't you?
Yeah. I really like him anyway, man, because I remember when he was playing like right wing under Warnock and that man. He was unbelievable that season, man, before he left.
We should have brought him. We should have brought him on earlier. Yesterday, he might have scored because he scored against Watford last time.
He's good, man. And he's good in the air, actually, as well. He's very good in the air.
Look, that we've got depth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good options.
Yeah. But it's still not good enough for some. Do you know what I mean? I mean, the manager, and I disagree, made a throwaway comment in a line and calling Bamford a Leeds legend, and everyone had the pitchforks out and that reckoning on, and he was getting game time again and that, and it's like, calm down a little bit, man. He did
the same thing with Cooper last year.
Yeah, man.
Like, he makes sure to keep the ego of the players that aren't playing that much, so that he keeps them on side without them being this big rift or anything. But Bamford knows he's not first choice, and he knows he's not second choice, so he's not thick. He understands that, and so does Farker.
100%. And let's look. All I've seen on my timeline and in my chat tonight while doing the Champo games was love for one Bill Ayling, who's gone to Middlesbrough, has become their captain, right? I'd seen a take from Graham Bandiera, who said it was one of their most important signings over the last decade, just a few weeks back. And we as Leeds fans, the majority chased him out of the club saying he was League One level. So let's just think that actually I think the manager might know what he's talking about when it comes to certain individuals within the side.
Second, I seen Chris there said his legs are gone. It looked like that today in that second half. In the 80th, 90th minute, he was the one running the most up and down that line. So, yeah. But I'm happy with Bogle. I'm not saying we shouldn't have got him. You know what I mean? Before everyone loses their head. I've moved on. Don't worry, people.
Yeah. And Bogle was good again.
Yeah.
Go on, Jack. I can see you.
If Byron were called Schmidt, I think everybody would get more excited about it. I honestly think that's a problem.
I hear it.
I think somebody being called like Luke Ayling just isn't fun enough for him. But like, I mean it. I think it's a problem. And they just
Are you going full Samuel Aladici here, where he said that he would have got hired by City if he was called Samuel Aladici?
Well, I've never heard him say that, to be fair. But I'm a bit with it, yeah. I think there's an element to that, really. You know, like, you know, you all love Corberan, don't you? He plays boring football. If he were called Sam Aladici, no, but you know, I don't want to watch Sean Dyche football either. But you know, he gets them branded with the English boring football, doesn't he? Like just sitting behind ball and that. But you all go crazy over Corberan, so what's the difference?
And if he were called Seanino Dici, there we go. Sorted.
Nice.
Like Chris Wilde-area or something like that.
You do though, man. If you get pigeonholed, you can easily get pigeonholed as a player or a manager, and once you're in that, then it's hard to shake that. It is. It is a thing. I do agree. Right, that's the negative shit out of the way. Right, that's some stuff that we've had to sort of like maybe people have seen and was like, oh. Let's talk about some positives. Let's talk about how Tanaka. What was he like? Yeah, it's a very good name. It's a very good name. What was he like in the flesh, Evie?
He was everywhere. You would blink and he would be in another place defending. You know, he played right back, centre back, left back, midfield, left winger, right winger. He genuinely was everywhere last night. And if I'm honest, he probably made sure that we got those 3 points last night because he covered Bogle's backside. He covered Firpo's backside multiple times. In fact, when he got yellow carded, he was in Bogle's position. So I thought from where I was sat that it was Bogle. So I was effing and jeffing saying, well, that's Bogle out next game. And then it turned, you know, it was only when I saw it on the screen that it came up that it was Tanaka got yellow carded. It was, yeah, he was phenomenal. Like, how on earth we got him, you know, Glenn Kamara, who?
Fair. I'll take that. You're not bad. Joe B, any thoughts?
The number of times that we were sort of penned into like a 5 by 5 meter square, and we were just thinking, right, so they've got 5 players around like 2 of ours. How the hell are we going to get out of this? And then you'd blink, and then somehow we'd be on the break, and Tanaka's pinged a ball 50 yards, and it's landed at Dan James's feet, and it's like, how you can just do that? You know, this is the Championship, right? You don't need to be this good. This is unnecessary. You're just going to make them feel sad about themselves. But I feel like once, because you got to remember, he's not started that many games of football yet either. So when he's properly in that flow, and when he's properly in that flow with Rothwell alongside him, this midfield's going to take the absolute piss. And I don't see any other midfield in the Championship that I look at and I go, that's going to be a problem. Even like midfielders where there's 3 of them playing in the middle, I think honestly we'll probably be fine because both of these players are too good for what we're playing against.
Well, I still stand by on their day. Sheffield United's midfield is quality, and we made them look ordinary, you know, and obviously they've lost again tonight, so that's 2 losses on the spin for them. So you make a great point, and that passage of play that you talk about, them, I think it was Firpo, it could have been Solomon, Firpo, and Tanaka in that moment, and they played like little triangle, and then Tanaka just turned and went bang. And it just went out to James, and we were under the cosh at that point, and you're just like, wow, yeah, different gravy. Jackie's so good, right?
Yeah, he were mint last night as well, to be fair. It's a shame he won 30 million, and then you'd have all got your marquee signing, wouldn't you?
Who's we? Who are you talking to here?
Just everybody.
I feel like I'm being accosted here.
There's loads of us in the chat. But yeah, we're all banging on about and you don't know which one I'm looking at either, to be fair, so it works out quite well. just looking at the screen. But yeah, you all wanted a marquee signing, and it just so happens that 3 million could potentially be your marquee signing. So, bosh.
Yeah.
Perfectly. Not ripped off. 49ers will not be ripped off. Get up.
Fuck the 49ers. Up the Seattle Seahawks. I'm joking. Sean, he's not having a go at me. At least I don't think he is.
I don't know why I'm saying we.
Why say Joe taking pelters? Mate, I'm not you. But I'm saving Lockie till last, you see. So Paul Tanaka.
Lockie's got it ready and coming, hasn't he? For me, he's just I knew he was good. I didn't realise how good he was once he's got full match fitness. Still remember, not too long ago, he'd done an 18,000-mile round trip to get back to playing for us, and he's performing at that level. He needs drug testing. He's ridiculous. He does this thing, and he's got this awareness that top centre midfielders have, which is the ability to play the ball across the body, their own body, and move with it, and sort of play it, look, and move themselves just into 5 yards of space. Very, very Oliver Decor-esque, very, very Paul Scholes-esque, where the ball, they can just move themselves without having to move too much, but it takes players out of the game. And just the ball that he played, and he's tracking back. Twice he got Firpo out of absolute nightmares last night. There was a couple of sliding tackles that he did was just unbelievable. Ticky-tacky football when there's like 5 of theirs on 2 or 3 of ours to get it out. He's so calm as well. He will not be flustered. And Rothwell was good last night, but he wasn't Sheffield United good last night. And Tanaka picked up the slack in that vein, I think. And really, he's brilliant, strong chest, lovely. Really, really good player.
Yeah. Really good, wasn't he, Lucky? Strong chest, yeah.
Yeah, as Paul just mentioned, like, the guy who played 90 minutes other side of the world, got a plane back, had one recovery session, I believe it was, him and Aronson. Played against Sheffield United for 90 minutes, put in arguably a man of the match performance. Had 2 training sessions, and then put in that performance. He can hardly speak English, don't care, nothing phases him. He's not bothered by all. He goes on a football pitch and he just thinks, right, I'm just going to do my thing here and then go home. I absolutely love him. I think he's a joke of a player. I'm trying not. I don't want to, go too hard on it, but when at the end of last season, Joe, when we were planning, the scout report stuff we do, and I had Premier League players that I wanted us to sign and players in the Championship. Tanaka was on both lists. If we'd have gone up, I'd have wanted him as well. Honestly, I think he's unbelievable. He's one of them players for me. You drop him to any team, he'll do a job. He'll be fine because he doesn't necessarily play with his unbelievable physical attributes or he's really quick. He's just got a brain.
Yeah.
And he's quicker than everyone else in the head. He just thinks about everything for everyone else. He knows exactly what's going to happen. And if in that game when we were struggling, he turned into Ampadu with his recovery runs, slide tackles. You know what I mean? He's learned.
He made some good challenges in the box as well.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Every week he keeps adding a little more to his game. He's a joke of a player. The fact that I saw people obviously when we signed him saying, "Oh, he's come from the Bundesliga too." He should not be in there. Too good. He's got his chance now.
Lockie, what happens long term in midfield for you? How does that look? If everyone's
fit?
when
Ampadu Gruev comes back?
Yeah, when everyone's fit. How does it look?
For me, I think it's Tanaka Ampadu. I know Tanaka's been playing the 6 and Ampadu has as well, but Tanaka can play the 8. I think there was times in the game against Watford where he did go higher and Rothwell actually dropped deeper. And he's just as good there. Like, that's where he predominantly played for Fortuna Dusseldorf last season, the season before last. So I think the balance with Ampadu covering and Tanaka just focused on that forward bit and the progression side of it is an absolute joke of a midfield that can get you very, very far. I like Rothwell. I think he's a really good squad player. He'll have games where he's unbelievable, like the other day. He'll have games where he's decent, like against Watford. That's what he's there for. That's his role. But for me, and then you've got Gruev as well. Like, he's been excellent before he got injured.
Yeah, yes.
The options in midfield, I wish we had them options, everywhere else. Yeah. And I'm going, compared to last season as well. Honestly, mate, I'm going to stop because I could talk for another 25 minutes. I hear it.
Don't forget, he wears white Mizuno boots as well, which is just quality. Unbelievable. Old school of it. If there were Puma
Nothing
Kings,
bothers him.
no, if he was wearing Puma Kings with the tongue flap overs, I'd be just loving him even more. It was incredible.
Adidas World Cups, man. Adidas World Cups, they're the best. None of that flashy shit with Tanaka. Just comes, does his job, and like you said, Lockie goes home. It was great. I spoke yesterday on the post match, and one of the only Leeds bros made a good point. I think it was Darren said about how the striker position, did Joseph wrestle it back off Pirro? Did Pirro gift it back to him? How do we feel, Jack? I'll come to you. How do we feel on the striker position? Because Pirro didn't have one of his better games like he had against Sheffield United. It didn't really come off for him. He missed a few chances. Joseph missed a few. Which way do you go on Saturday, mate? Just based on yesterday's performances.
Well, I wouldn't like to do it just based on yesterday's. Do you know what I mean? I think I'd just go with, I'd stick with Peru on the basis that he has worked his way back into the side, played well every start he's had. I don't think he was poor yesterday. I know a few people got frustrated with him, but ultimately it was a bit of a scrappy game, wasn't it? This is why I always banged on about Bamford, but it's really difficult up top on your own when it's like that. I know, and everybody else is piling forward. You've got your back to goal. It's a totally.
JT wants Bamford back in, by the way. JT wants him back in. You on that, aren't you?
Even I'm not doing that yet.
I'm not saying I'm happy with how we're going. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Do you know what I mean? But I think Bamford will play a role this season, and I know nobody likes it, but I do. And I think the comments that he made about Bamford, Farke, is to sort of set it up for later on down the line. I do think there'll be a 10-game run again where Bamford's up top every game. I really do. I think it will end up. It might be slightly forced upon us, but
if it's not forced, it won't happen. You know.
No, he's not. He's not. That's what I mean. He's not going to do it now.
Getting in. No.
But no, I'd stick with Peru, and then I'd just wait for Joseph to. I just think it eases on Joseph a little bit because that miss, the headed miss, he's done a few of them really, and I think it just relieves him of the
pressure,
massive burden because it's not really spoke about that header, is it? That I've seen anyway, particularly on Twitter and that to the level that it has been when he was missing when he was starting.
If he was our only striker, then yes, you're right. You're right. You bang on because we can now go. Well, Pirro missed one as well from that rebound.
There's a comparison,
yeah, of course,
which also is what Bamford's not had. His whole, but for years he's not had that. Like, well, everybody misses, and then suddenly other players are starting to miss. Strikers miss chances, don't they? As we well know. So it's But Peru don't miss many. To be fair to him, he does seem like they're probably the best in front of goal. But it's just I understand the frustration that he sort of causes. But he's not particularly mint on ball, is he? But he's also not that bad on ball. Do you know what I mean? I just think he gets a lot of stick for being horrendous on ball. When that assist for Joseph the other day were lovely.
Lovely, but his touch is poor compared to the rest, and I think it is because he's got a lot of technical players around him that are able to keep the ball really,
and they're extremely sharp. He's playing with extremely sharp football. That's their whole game. Because he's also not slow, but he's just not as fast as them. When Ramazani's literally like bolt downside, you're not going to look fast, are you? He's got a yard of pace, hasn't he? And then he looks like he's a ship, doesn't he? But he's not. Do you know what I mean?
It's different types of players, though, isn't it? You've got Joseph that is a very physical, backing into the player, which Evie is a big fan of, and that type of occupying. Whereas Peru's not that type of player. To be fair to Peru, his touch into Nonto in the first half yesterday was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Pinged it. It came into him fast, just instant touch into feet. And Nonto did the left right and hit it with his right, and unfortunately the keeper saved it. But it's two different players, isn't it? That's the big difference for me. It's two different types of players, and they'll get rotated. They'll get rotated throughout the entire season.
I think that
that it's on the line as well, which is what's good.
Yeah,
Peru's aware now that's a game. That's a game against him. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's same with Joseph when he ended up getting swapped out for Peru. I think they're well aware that 3 games matter. You can't be going 3 games without it getting switched, really.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing I liked about, well, not like the thing that happened with Perot yesterday, when he had that one chance and he missed it. That's the first time this season I think he's missed a big chance from the top of my head, right? Which, when you deep it, is crazy that he's been that clinical. So I think you can cut me a bit of slack for that. Mateo Joseph, on the other hand, you could probably, in your brain, think of a lot more chances he's missed, probably more moments where he's been really good. And again, when he came on, the energy was unbelievable. We needed that energy at that time. And I think if it was different the way around and you bring in Perot in that situation, I don't think it changes the game too much because of the way we kind of needed Mateo Joseph to come in there. I think, Perot's got to keep scoring. I think if the goals go up for Perot, maybe 3 or 4 more games, he's not scored, Daniel Farke will change it a bit, I think. But if he keeps scoring goals, I don't see any reason to drop him when you still have Mateo Joseph on the bench who can come on for 30 minutes and terrorise defenders. So good options to have again in that position.
100%.
I thought both subs, Ayman and Dan James, came on and changed the game. That's what we need from them.
100%. Sorry, I'm listening. Just go on. Yep.
Just thinking, obviously we're away, and in terms of, you would have thought that Bristol might want to, do something, play their cup final as they all like to do when we roll into town. But for me, I would be starting Joseph to tire them out, because as well, if you're playing Solomon, who's still not up, I'm going off the presumption that if Ramazani is available, he might not be starting because of the fact that if he's rolled his ankle or whatever, or he might even just not be available full stop. Solomon's still getting up to speed, so he's slower than he was when we first got him. You've got Aronson, who has played a lot of football, done a lot of travelling, and for as much as I don't want to see him replaced in the middle because he's done poorly, he's played a lot of football this season when you compare it to what he played last season as well. And then you've got Nonto, who has been quiet now for the last 2 games, but he does seem to do better away from home. I would have Joseph up there in terms of tire them out, and then you can bring Pirro on with his clinical edge to just finish a game off in the last 30 minutes, tired legs. They're not going to get run as tired by Pirro as they are by Joseph. So he could then afford to be a little bit wasteful for the first 50 minutes, as long as we're still maintaining possession. And then you bring in Pirro on to just annihilate them right at the end when they think they've got an ounce of hope.
That's where we have the squad, don't we? We do have the
Bristol have got 6 out as well on Saturday, haven't they?
Wow. Okay.
Well.
Dickey, Atkinson, Bell, Benarous, Pring, and Williams, who got red carded in the game tonight. So they've got 6 players now.
That's nice. That's nice. Just slightly off topic as well. Just more importance as to why Leeds United need to get promoted, because the regulator has started to flex its muscles a bit, and parachute payments could be scrapped entirely in the future, as there is an unfair. There's almost a Premier League 2 at the top of the Championship, which there is, if we're being totally honest. The discrepancy between our clubs and...
Joe, if we don't go up, that'll help us.
Eh?
If we don't go up, that'll help us, because teams coming down won't happen.
No, but I mean, we're also benefit of it right now, is my point. Does that make sense?
I don't mean,
let's get out.
In 2 or 3 years.
In 2 or 3 years. If we don't go up. I suppose, but that's on the horizon anyway. I'll tell you what did impress me yesterday was deliveries, not just from corners, but also into the box. We saw the one for Dan James that did come in for Joseph. We saw the one from Nonto as well. A couple now from Nonto, actually, which he's always looking for. Pirro tends to do from that right-hand side, which has really impressed me. I just think as well, if we compare it to last season, the whole variation with the way in which we're playing this season's, there's a lot more variety to it, isn't there? And long may that continue. I don't know if there's anything else much more really that we can dig out on. Like we were saying before, it's kind of a little bit boring, isn't it, being this good? Do you know what I mean?
Just say one thing.
Yes.
Can you now admit that Dan James is an unbelievable football player? Stop.
Yeah.
I
do. I have. Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah,
you don't know what you've got until it's gone. And
That
I'd already
cross.
said, yeah, it was unbelievable.
That was
cross,
ridiculous.
You almost don't
Unbelievable.
expect Dan James to do anything.
To be
like
able
that.
to do it. Yeah. I was like,
He
what is
does
this?
it. And you're like, how are they doing that?
And I tell you what, props has to go massively, not just to Dan, but also to Daniel Farker, because the club binned him out. The club had binned him out. Like, they'd sent him away to Fulham. They didn't really want him. We'd spent 25 million on him. I weren't that fussed on him either, if I'm being totally honest. And look, I'm wrong all the time, man. It is what it is, that's my MO. I am wrong. but no, we missed him, man.
He's had a tough Leeds journey as well.
Yeah, he has.
He didn't come here. Then he came and was playing a striker. We all hated him because of the fact that he's not a striker. We then binned him off because of the fact that, we were getting this striker. We were getting Cody Gakpo. We were getting all of these people in on the last day. And then he came down to the Championship, didn't make a fuss, just got on with it, even though he'd been rejected by a lot of fans. And just does a really good job. I'm not saying he's world class or anything, but I'm just saying he is good, and he's somebody as well that I genuinely feel bad for, because I don't think he's actually been given a chance in the Premier League properly, because he wasn't played and utilised well at Man U. Fulham barely played him. We used him as a striker. So he hasn't really had much time in the Premier League for all of the seasons he's been there to actually just be an out-and-out winger.
I think for me, if we got promoted, I can just imagine, right? Just as a squad player, again, 65th minute, we're struggling in a game, and then the fullback, and then he just comes on, and you just do balls in that channel. At the end of the day, you'll create something. Do you know what I mean? I think Evie's right. We were too reliant on him. I think that was the issue with Dan James in the Premier League. For the life of me, I don't think he's a starter in the Premier League. I think obviously we're going to be looking in Europe for some big wingers, but as a squad option, someone with that raw pace, it's a no-brainer to have in the squad for me. As long as you're not overly reliant on him, which we weren't. We absolutely killed him off, didn't we, to be fair?
That's what Solskjaer did with him, to be fair, as well, wasn't it? He got some pretty big goals for Man U. They did just sort of launch one.
Yeah.
And also with Dan James, I felt, that. Do you remember? I can't remember what the game it was, because he always put 100% in, didn't he? I don't think anybody would argue that he didn't. Even when he were up top, he were getting about as much as he could. That sending off were big, wasn't it? Because that's when it had really started to go sour, and I felt like that was just him trying to commit. Really, the Ayling one, I felt like he threw towel in a bit with that one. You remember the wild tackle? I felt like that was just like head gone. But I think James is a bit more of an innocent big tackle, like trying to sort of rally the team a bit. I think that went against him pretty heavy, just in general. Because then it's so hard to get a career going at a club as well, and we are a big club. And there's a lot of expectation on players and stuff, and you can get sort of thrown to the sidelines pretty quickly. So yeah, it were hard. It were bad. It were bad time, really, wasn't it? Football wise. I know.
He never complains. He never shouts. He never stamps his feet. He just gets on with it, and he's professional. And that's, for me, that'll see you in absolute buckets and spades at Leeds if you just professional, do the job that you're supposed to do. And just get it. And he gets it. He absolutely gets it. I genuinely think he was devastated when that transfer didn't go through from Swansea. I think he was devastated when that didn't happen.
Yeah. The season he had last year was it's unbelievable. So underrated for me. I thought he was really good. Yeah. And then obviously he got injured, didn't he? And then Nonto came and he kept his place. Even after that, he didn't complain. Well, we don't know, but I'm assuming just based on him, he didn't complain. He got on with it. Even this year, the fact he's not starting, when he could easily say, look, I think I should start. He just comes on and keeps doing the job. He doesn't look like he's sulking. He just gets on with it. I've got so much respect for that person.
I think Dan James suffers from the same thing that I was on about earlier, though, where it's like, he's different. He's a totally, so it's sort of seen as though he doesn't have certain qualities. And then he pulls that outsider boot, picks Joseph. Like, that is...
It was unbelievable, that.
If Nonto does that or Rams does that, it's worldwide news with Leeds fans, isn't it? Because it is like, there's one player on pitch that can pull that pass off, and when you realise it with Dan James, it's sort of like there's a gasp. We all have to, we all have to be surprised.
Halfway line last year, didn't he? As well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Oh,
I could do that in an open goal, man. Chill out. I'd not even get it from halfway line, I swear.
I was going to say, I don't know if you could do it from 6 yards out. Never mind the halfway line.
I could do it
You're
from
gonna get
6,
the
Joe.
ball
Let's
as
not
well.
take the piss.
You'd Joe, your shot, but you know the Aronson one that just went up? That'd be yours. That.
Can we as well take a quick minute to just completely think how beautiful all of Watford's time wasting was? Why would you time waste when you're losing 2-1 in the 90th minute? Literally, obviously, when I don't know what you can see on the TV versus what you saw in Ellen Road, one person would go down, and then when they were starting to stand back up, somebody else would go down. And then just when they're, because obviously you then have to go off. If medics come on, you then have to go off for 30 seconds. So miraculously, they'd then be substituted, but the substitute doesn't have to wait 30 seconds to come back on. You do that when you're winning 1-0, not when you're losing 2-1. Like, I would be so pissed off if I'm a travelling fan from London and you watching your team time waste when you're 2-1 down.
It was the left back that went down with cramp off the pitch towards the end of the game. Put himself back onto the pitch again. So the ref had to stop the game. I purely thought that they were doing it just so when the extra time came in, that they would get as much extra time as possible. So that they would get, and I think it was 8 minutes in the end, wasn't it? That they would get as much extra time as possible. But Jesus, where I was stood in the cop, there was an old guy that was right at the front. Wow, he was throwing some absolute pelters at the referee the entire game. The entire game. It was just absolute potty mouth. It was incredible. Incredible to watch.
I think my favourite weird example of time wasting was it's like the last 5-10 minutes and they're so close to the end of the game and they need to get going forwards. It was that free kick that their goalkeeper tried to take. Then the ref is like, no, go backwards. And he's like, okay, tries to take it from the same place again without moving. And then he's like, what do you mean, ref? I've clearly... No, you fucking... Just go backwards and try and score a goal. You are losing.
I think their keeper was just scared of kicking ball, though, and he couldn't keep it in pitch. So, like, if I can delay this free kick, I might be all right.
We helped him out, though, by kicking everything at him in second half. So
he pulled off. He did pull off some in the second half, in fairness. No, shit.
Yeah, Melier was definitely targeted, Swanee, in terms of set pieces. And I watched Luton tonight, actually, and I was just thinking, fucking hell, we need to be on it when we play Luton because they are unbelievable from set pieces. So that's definitely something that's been earmarked for Leeds United. But got to get through this. Got to get through this, as Daniel Bedingfield would say. I didn't even mean to do that. If you're not the one, then why does? Sorry, I apologise. I'm getting tired. I'm getting the leaves. Yeah, I know it is, bro. All right, resident DJ. You're not fucking in the club now, bro.
He's singing them written in a minute.
Yeah. He's singing.
That is a banger, by the way.
He's singing so. We're going to get DMCA'd in a second.
Before you out the bunny window. That one, yeah. Can we just? Sorry, I know. Can we just take a moment as well to remember that once upon a time there was a coach at Leeds United that played a player that's just scored 3 goals in the Champions League at right wing back and stuck him on long throws. That man,
that made Rafinha.
I know, right? Fucking hell!
You got to see the long. You got to see the big picture. It's the long game.
It's disgusting to see, isn't it? He is. The fact that guy has played at our football club, the fact that I've got to watch that guy in living colour put Gary Cahill on his arse was just unbelievable. Disgustingly good, just brilliant to watch. Fair play, brilliant.
By far the best player I've seen in the Leeds shirt in my lifetime.
Yeah, he's what a player.
Ballon d'Or. Imagine he wins a Ballon d'Or.
And on that really positive note,
Next time we go up, we'll find someone else in some French club and we'll sign him, and then we'll look really good for a season, and then things will go downhill again, and we'll sell him to Bayern or something. And
Rafinha's got unfinished business. You're all doing us a disservice. He'll be back in summer.
Yeah.
Can I just point out as well, might be sort of slightly controversial, but I just do want to point it out. I'm really pleased to see Rutter doing as well as what he's doing at Brighton. Genuinely, I'm actually pleased for him because they weren't happy with him at the start, and now everybody loves him. Absolutely everybody loves him. I'm pissed off that he doesn't play for us anymore, but I'm pleased to see him progressing really well. Controversial.
Oh, imagine him with Rafinha in the same side.
Fuck off, man.
That'd be so nice.
Could have been us.
Oh.
Folks, I would love to go around and say man of the match. We're all going Tanaka, yeah? It is what it is.
Yeah.
Bristol City at the weekend, 3-point collectors. Anyone nervous? Or are we good? It's away from home. We've been really good away from home, to be fair, coincidentally.
They've won two, drawn the rest of their last few games. So they're very up and down.
I don't think it's too positive. Having looked between now and the next international break, right? We've got Bristol City, Millwall, QPR, and
Plymouth, right?
Plymouth, yeah. So we've got Bristol City, Plymouth, Millwall, QPR. Then we've got an international break. Got to get 12, haven't you?
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
I think we can.
Yeah, same. That's what I mean.
To be honest, apart from last game, the games before that, I just wanted draws. I was happy with draws in all of them. But now, I mean, looking at these games, I think just go do the job. I don't care if we're unbelievable at this point. Just go win the games, do what we do, defend well, be solid, let our attackers do the thing and create chances and score goals. Is Millwall away? It's away, right?
Millwall away, yeah. Bristol City away. And then we've got Plymouth at home and QPR at home. We owe QPR for last season as well, really, to be honest.
True.
Yeah, we do.
I expect 1 points personally.
But if we win them, we'll be top by the next international break.
So, yeah.
Can we all make an agreement, though, that if we drop a few points because some weird shit happens, we don't lose our heads because we'll still be fine?
No one on this panel
I know. We're fine. I'm mainly talking to the comments. If we draw a match, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's a long season. We're third.
Do you know what? There's people in the chat that fucking wanted this manager sacked. Do you remember that a few weeks back when everyone were far out? Do you remember them times?
After we won a match. Yeah.
Great times. Yeah. Away. Yeah. We won at Cardiff, won at far out. My God. They walk among us. Sean
He knows
Healy.
what he's doing. And it's not going to be easy, and we're not going to do it the easy way, unfortunately. And we found that out. With mistakes and stuff we've done this year. It's the way it is. You know, we've got the right tools now. Everything's in place. The players just need to go do the job every week, which they are doing at the moment.
I'm not going to underestimate the team. Like everybody underestimated Ipswich. We all said they'll fall off. Everybody did at some point. You know, myself included. But at this time last season, Sunderland were in 4th and we were in 5th. And they ended up nowhere near the playoffs.
16th, they ended up.
And do you know what, as well, Evie? Like everyone keeps saying, it's in vogue doing a Ipswich now. I know we were saying that's what it's called now. Sunderland are the new Ipswich, and I hate to use this comparison, but we're the Leicester.
No.
Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense. So yeah, they can be another Ipswich, but
we didn't cheat. We didn't.
No, but my point is they ran away, so we'll do that. So them being in Ipswich can affect Burnley or something. It's not going to affect us because we're
top 2 as well. We're going to get top 2.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Have to win it. I'd love to win it. Top 2, get me out. Don't care. And look, we'll watch. You know, I know you were watching. They got battered, didn't they, by Luton, Joe?
Yes, Luton were by far better side.
Luton should have been. It should have been 2-2 that game. It shouldn't have been 2-1.
Well, they should have gone 1-0 up. Yeah, they should have gone 1-0 up, and it would have been
We're good. I'm confident right now. I can't lie. I think we're looking good. We're looking very good.
It's about results at the moment more than anything, leading up to the next international break, because we've got players coming back. We've got people getting back into gelling into the squad and everything again. We're not hitting top form. I want us to start hitting top form Christmas and then moving onwards. That's where I want us to start hitting top form. At this moment in time, I just want the results. And yeah, like Evie said, it was stressful last night and it was annoying. And when Melier was like rolling the ball towards the touchline and I'm in the Kop end, everybody in the Kop end was just screaming at him to pick the ball up. And I went, he's doing this on purpose. He's doing it on purpose. But I just want the results at the moment. Yeah, if we play all right, fantastic, great. If we absolutely tear teams apart, brilliant. I just want the results because we're hard to beat at the moment. Very, very hard to beat.
Yeah. Points win your prizes, don't they? That's the thing. Points win your prizes. Has anyone got anything they want to share or promote while we're on?
I was going to mention the new signing, Joe.
Gulavogui, of course.
Yeah.
Is there a nicer man in football, by the way?
No.
He was great.
It's insane, man. Did you see the Leeds?
Wow,
Leeds, wow. I was howling, man.
Well, he's 34, so he'd have grown up. He'd have been younger when we were actually really good. So unlike these young players that don't, Leeds used to be big. He'd have lived it. He'd have seen it, wouldn't he? Like you said about Decor, he'd have probably liked him and idolised him a bit. So it's probably true. He probably believes that. He'd have been young when we'd have been in the Champions League.
You see, tonight I have stars in my eyes. Yeah, that's what he said on his post.
It sounds great. Yeah. And then you've seen the Wolfsburg
unbelievable
comment.
He needs to stop wearing ankle flashing trousers, though.
Honestly, when he started speaking, I was like, "Who is this guy?" And then, yeah. It's
you're making his accent sound like he's an alien out of Toy Story, and they're like, "They're claw."
But that's what it sounds like, bro.
It's just French, that's racist.
So someone texted me and actually said that, Jack. That's what he sounds like.
Then
the aliens. Yeah, exactly.
We all heard Melier speak, wasn't it? What the hell is that?
They should switch voices, I reckon.
That'd be ridiculous.
That's what it should.
This bit kills me, man. I've watched it so many times. You know what? Hang on.
Leeds United. When I said Leeds, they said wow. Leeds United. When I said Leeds, they said wow.
Wow. This is wow. And he said, tonight I have stars in my eyes. I just want to enjoy this amazing moment with all of you. It's now up to me to give my best and pay tribute to all those who wore this jersey before me. It is both an honour and a tremendous responsibility.
Right, done. That's done.
Yeah, man.
He'll be kicking out a right stinking dressing room, won't he?
Right imagine,
Over his career, in terms of physicality, he's won like 70% of all the headers that he's gone up for. 6'2" as well in the centre of midfield. A little bit of physicality that we might need every now and then. Speaking on Luton, that's coming up soon and stuff like that. I think it's a good signing, a really good signing.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. Cool. Well, I think we'll leave it there, folks. Tomorrow will be press conference. Oh, go on, Joe.
I've got one very quick little shout out. I noticed that 10 minutes ago, Evie has published a video. I've been doing something very funny because I've been doing a little bit of help on Evie's thumbnails. In every single one of Evie's videos so far, I've hidden a pigeon in the thumbnail. There's 3 in today's, and she's only found 2. And I just thought I'd let everyone know that there is a long-running thing where if you want to play a game of Where's Wally, go for it.
Cool. I'm going to check that right now. Is this what she was going to kill you for?
Oh, yeah. She didn't know until I told her after the match yesterday.
Okay.
That they've just been hiding everywhere.
Hiding.
We'll have to check it.
There are 3 in today's, and she's only found 2.
Yeah, cool. You won't tell me where the other one is.
So is it in the thumbnail or in the video?
It's in the thumbnail.
Oh no, so you won't be editing the videos. If you're editing the videos and could just do like a little, like in Fight Club, where they just superimpose the penis into the picture while they're watching the film. Kids that have gone to watch this, I should give a bit of extra to this. So when you're in cinema and they put the film through on the tape, in the old school ones with the tape, they used to splice it together. And what they used to do was they'd get an old style like bit of porn or something and splice it into the video. So the kids would be watching like a cartoon, and just out of nowhere, a penis would just appear for like literally just for what that, and then it'd go away again.
Who would do that?
I don't know. JB would.
No,
Right.
I'm getting dragged in. Why am I doing that?
Right, let's end it there anyway. Right, let's go. Go check out Evie's video. Go check out. Let's go through it all. Go check out City of Leeds fans, Jack City Music. Go check out Discourse of a Peacock. Go check out Joe Blackburn. Go check out Lockie Leeds, who's done a great video on Gilla Vogie earlier on. So go make sure you go watch that, and of course go check out the Leeds Therapy. Thanks everyone for watching tonight. It's great to have these great folks on as well. And yeah, I'm gonna go watch Venom now because the new one's out on Saturday. So Friday. I'm gonna watch that one on Saturday. So I'm gonna go watch the other two today and tomorrow. Right. Peace out. Anyway, enough from me. Bye bye.